So the other day, I posted a comment on Facebook, and here's the comment. It's from a guy named Reverend Benjamin Kramer, and it's a take on the Beatitudes. When I was hungry, you cut SNAP. When I was thirsty, you cut funding to ensure clean water. I was sick, you cut Medicaid. I was a stranger, you deported me. I was in prison, and you just left me there to rot. Whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me, Jesus. I thought it was a lovely post. I like it. I like what he's doing here. And a friend of mine posted a comment, and in their comment, they shared an article. So their response to this post was, not the bees take. Political ideology is running wild on the left. Taxpayer-financed government largesse is not a prerequisite for obedience to Jesus' commands of personal charity. Why doesn't support of big government programs count as caring for the least of these? Because Christ wasn't giving a lecture on civil government, nor telling his followers how they should engage it. Very true, right? Jesus was not, when he said, do unto the least of these in the Gospel of Matthew, he wasn't telling us that we need, that government is the ones to do that. He was telling us to do it. Absolutely. Jesus was telling us it is up to us, the reader, to do this work. It's up to us, the reader, to take care of our neighbors, without question. The thing that statement ignores or misses is that it's also the responsibility of the governing authority to take care of its citizens. Yes, we as Christians are called to take care of our neighbor, but the governing authority of our nations is also called to take care of the citizens. Throughout the Old Testament, the government of the day would have been the monarchy. The monarchy, the king, always a king, can't remember a queen, but the king was always responsible for taking care of the people of the nation. Always. Well, as time goes on, we replace king with a lord, perhaps. Maybe we replace king with a government. Maybe it's a democracy. Maybe it's, I don't know, whatever kind of government it happens to be. It's the government's responsibility, biblically speaking. It's the government's responsibility to look after the people. As a matter of fact, even from a civics perspective, what's the point of government if it isn't to take care of the people? Now, the article that my friend shared, that she alluded to in her comment, there's an interesting, the author, he goes kind of off the deep end a little bit, trying to prove his point that political ideology has run rampant on the left. But he makes this statement. He says, suppose a certain individual, be it Donald Trump or whoever, gave large portions of their personal income to feed the hungry. Suppose they even founded a food bank in Appalachia and financed 75% of its yearly expenses with their own dollars. They gave freely from what they had to put food in the stomachs of the destitute and the impoverished. Simultaneously, they believe that government food assistance programs like SNAP were fraught with abuse, mismanagement, were terribly inefficient, and therefore favored their reduction or elimination. Would such a person have failed Christ's call to feed the hungry? The author would say no. No. They absolutely did it. The author here's trying to offer a duality between our need to care, our call to care for the poor, and the government's call to care for people. So long as we're doing it, then we're not guilty of not feeding the poor. And I will say in this case, in this situation, he's not wrong. Right? He's not wrong. If we are taking care of people, good. That's what we're supposed to do. excellent. Paying up to 75%, paying 25%, paying 5%, doing whatever we can is what is asked of us. The second part, though, and it is a little bit more complicated. Simultaneously, this person who's doing what they can for the people around them, again, doesn't have to be a person of wealth, could be a person with nothing, 2 pennies to rub together, gives those 2 pennies to a food bank. They're doing everything they can to feed the poor. God bless them. But simultaneously, that person believes that government food assistance programs like SNAP were fraught with abuse, mismanagement, and terribly inefficient, and therefore favored their reduction or elimination. Would such a person would such a person have failed Christ's call to feed the hungry? Yes. Our responsibility when it comes to government, again, it's not, to me, it's not arguable. Government has a responsibility to take care of the citizens, to make sure their citizens are healthy, to make sure their citizens have their needs met, to make sure their citizens are safe. That's the requirement. If a food assistance program like SNAP is fraught with abuse, mismanagement, and terribly inefficient, then it's up to us. It's up to that person who's given all this money. It's up to that person who's given whatever they can. It's up to that person who's fed the poor. It's up to that person to call upon the government to get rid of the abuse, to become more efficient, to become. We're to call upon the government to manage the resources better. That's our responsibility. So maybe we wouldn't say they are guilty of not answering Christ's call to feed the poor. Maybe we would say they're guilty of not answering our responsibility to speak the prophetic words to power. Get it together, right? Get this stuff together. Get your sail straight here, fellas. You've got work to do. Get this fixed. But if we're going to call upon for the elimination of food assistance programs in general, then yes, we are. At best we're complicit. At worst we're enabling. We're encouraging. Yeah. Get rid of that. You should stop feeding people. If I'm telling you to not feed people, then yes, I am guilty of not responding to Christ's call to feed the poor. If I'm telling my government don't feed people, then I am guilty of that. And if I'm not telling my government that they should be feeding people, and if I'm not telling my government that they should be doing things effectively and efficiently, then they should be managing resources better, then I'm guilty as well as not speaking those prophetic words to power. God put you in power. You believe that you've been placed there by God. Therefore, you have a responsibility. Live up to it. Live up to it or get out of the business. Live up to it or leave and let somebody else come in who will. Whether it's an individual, you and I, whether it's our families, whether it's our communities, whether it's our churches, whether it's a government, whether it's a corporation, right? We all have a responsibility to take care of our neighbors. Now, we can try to split the hair 45 different ways. The truth is, the theme of Jesus' message here, it's not to say this all falls on you. It's not to say this all falls on them. It's not to say this person is free of it. It's to say this should be the driving force in our lives. For those of us who call themselves Christians, it should be a driving force in our lives that we take care of others, knowing full well that when we do, we are taking care of Him. We should be taking care of others, knowing full well that when we do, we are in His presence and it is pleasing to Him. And if we as Christians have a government, yes, we absolutely should be speaking to that authority, saying, get this right and take care of our neighbors. It's not one or the other. It's all of us carry this responsibility. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean the government gets off the hook. And vice versa, just because the government has these programs doesn't mean that I'm off the hook. Yes, Jesus is telling us we need to feed people. Absolutely. And yes, governing authorities have a biblical responsibility to take care of those they serve. The other day, we talked about a bill in Texas that was brought forward by a Republican that they want to put the Ten Commandments in all the classrooms. And one of the things, I think her name is Candy Noble, State Representative Candy Noble. One of the things she said was, it was along the lines of that we in authority, we've been given this opportunity to to rule, to govern. That we in authority have been given the opportunity to govern this land, and she's wrong. That's not the opportunity you were given. That's the job you were given. The opportunity our elected officials have been given. The opportunity our government has been given. The opportunity that those who have been placed in positions of authority have been given is to become servants. The opportunity is that they've been put in a position to take care of God's people. All of our brothers and sisters and ourselves. Healthy, needs met, safe. It's not me or them, it's us. It's not one group or another has the responsibility to do it. It's all of us. All of us are called to this purpose. We don't have the right. We don't have an argument to be able to say, no, it's them. They're going to do it. No, the government puts SNAP in place and I pay my taxes. And so therefore that's me helping my brother or my sister or the people down the street. Nope. You have a legal responsibility to pay your tax dollars. You have a godly responsibility to take care of your neighbor. Two things. We're all called to be part of this. And again, I mentioned corporations. In our countries, corporations have the rights of people. Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they therefore have the responsibility to feed? Why shouldn't they have the responsibility to pay their fair share? Why shouldn't they have the same responsibilities that you and I carry? We won't get into that one today. Amen.